Today, we are going to spend a little extra time on this episode in order for me to continue my story about the ghost-generated electronic voice phenomenon, as well as get you a little more deepened into the calibration with your pendulum, which will allow you to sink a little deeper into your subconscious for you to do a little inner work if you'd like to do any of that stuff. But meanwhile, I just want to say that please, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe to this channel. I always answer and reply to all of my comments, so please interact with me. You can even suggest content for me in the future, and I'll do my best to see what I can do to relate to whatever it is that you've got. If you've got a mysterious story, please subscribe to this channel. Meanwhile, as it continues to come together, I just want to say that on my homepage, I now have my episode from the recent airing of me on the Judge Jerry show, being sued by Murray Sawchuk for bending spoons at his engagement party. Now, Murray is actually a friend of mine, and that's why I was at his engagement party, but it made for a very, very interesting story on Judge Jerry when he sued me for $5,000. And just watch the episode and you'll see the outrage. Anyway, if you're also interested in my channel, please subscribe to my website or subscribe to my to my newsletter on my website by going to themanwhoknows.tv and just subscribe to my website, to my newsletter there, excuse me. You'll get to know a little bit more about the showbiz side of me. I am a professional entertainer. I'm a performer by trade. I do a show of amazements in which I dazzle you with feats of the mind and the imagination. And the name of the show is The Man Who Knows. That's me. I'm Alain Nu. Let's get started with my story because yesterday I talked about having met Chris Fleming and his introducing me to ghost-generated electronic voice phenomenon using his device called an SB7. And it's interesting just because when I asked him, I said, so we're actually going to contact ghosts at the Sheraton here in Boston. And he basically said, well, you know, ghosts are literally everywhere anyone has ever been. They cling to you, they connect to you, they end up sometimes being exchanged from other people that you know, who have other spirits connected to them. And so it's a very strange, you know, subterranean world when you start going into that spirit world. If you've ever met a shaman for real, you would actually know that shaman will sometimes kind of, you know, flow back and forth, especially the spiritual shaman that you meet in tribes. They flow back and forth between the spirit world and the reality world that we all know. And so it's interesting to be able to do that. And you can do that indeed with, you know, through oddly ghost generated or these EVPs that I talked about. The way that worked is it's actually a radio that's AM and FM, and it just sweeps through the stations. So it might go forward or backwards on the AM or FM dial. And what Chris Fleming said is that his works best when, or his communication seems to work best when it's backwards on the AM dial. So literally we were going backwards on the AM dial. It was hitting each channel one at a time. And when we started asking questions, it actually did start answering us. And I was very, very keen to look out for things like, you know, people on walkie-talkies and stuff like that might have been around us. But indeed, whatever was happening really seemed random and truly mysterious. So that being said, it leads to more of the story, which I'll tell you a little bit more about tomorrow. But for right now, let's get back into the concept of our pendulums, okay? So a pendulum is basically a tool that's used to communicate with your subconscious, which includes your emotional mind. This is actually a phrase that's used by my hypnosis teacher, Marcia Proctor. Hey, Marcia, if you're out there, warm regards from Arlington, Virginia, where we are right now. The pendulum knows the truth. With the pendulum, you have access to the powers of perception much deeper than your conscious or intellectual mind. So what you do in order to, we talked about getting a yes or no response. We talked about the yes response basically being this back and forth. We talked about the no response being the, look at that, as soon as I said no response, it went straight to the circle, which is, again, a strange, almost a sacred geometry, yin and yang, that takes place. So you try to keep the pendulum still. My pendulum's actually very, very sensitive, but sometimes it might take as much as 20, 30 seconds for it to actually activate. But you just want to observe it. Sometimes you can put your palm, use your palm or use an X on a piece of paper or any kind of center point in order to, start the pendulum from a still position to whatever position that you're in. And you're going to do like a series of calibration questions on yourself in order to calibrate the pendulum. So you might say something like, did I choose my neighbors? And as you can see, the pendulum immediately goes to the circle, right? You can say, am I a man? And as you can see, it immediately goes into literally the yang, the male symbol. Am I a woman? And immediately it goes to the no, right? Was I born in California? Immediately it goes to the straight back and forth, because I was indeed born in Monterey, California. Is my car pink? And as you can see, it goes to the no. Is there an important woman in my life? And indeed, it goes to yes. And you can get deeper than that as you start to calibrate yourself with your pendulum. In fact, it's good to, once you calibrate yourself in this way, you then match that up with ways of being able to suggest things that are more broader, things that you might not know the actual answer for. You might say something like, am I satisfied with my car? And that's a tough one for me, but as you can see, my pendulum is actually swinging to and fro. So I am satisfied with my car thus far. You can say, am I satisfied or pleased with where I live? And as you can see, it's it's almost like an oval. If I let it go a little bit longer, it might change. But right now, it's saying that I am actually satisfied with where I live. You can say, do I feel successful in my life? Oh boy, it's almost still. And here's the thing, if it doesn't do what you want it to do, you can always ask the question in a slightly different way. Right now, my pendulum is very, very still, but it is moving back and forth in a straight line. So indeed, I must be pleased or feel somewhat successful in my life. Maybe with more subscribers. Please subscribe to this channel. And maybe I'll feel a little bit more successful in my life. You say, do I earn enough money? Oh, that's a definite no. And that's a definite no for a lot of us during this time of the year. COVID and everything happening all around us. It's very, very difficult to get work these days. So if you've got a show for me, live or virtual, contact me. Look, it's so funny. As soon as I said that, got a show for me, contact me. And yes, indeed, that's what Pendulum wants me to do. It wants you to contact me for either a live or a virtual show, which I can bring to your group or to your business or to your organization. Because obviously I don't earn enough money from what I ask the pendulum. Am I a happy person? Ah, look at that. That's actually a definite affirmative. And so there you go. And if you've subscribed to my channel, you get to be around this happy person. I'm Alain Nu. I am the man who knows. Should I buy another pendulum? It's saying yes. Which means that maybe I have enough money to buy another pendulum. Who knows? We'll see if that actually works. The important thing to realize is that when you ask questions like, should I ask for a promotion? That what you really want to do is maybe ask a question that's more akin to, is it the right time for me to ask a promotion? see if that works with your pendulum. Play with it, and first calibrate yourself using the questions that you saw me use on myself, and then simply see if you can ask your pendulum deeper and deeper questions and see how mysterious things get. Please comment below if you end up with any kind of success at all with your pendulum within the next 1 or 2 days. I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to continuing to interact with you in the future. Please go to my website at themanwhoknows.tv in order to subscribe to my newsletter, which is a little bit different because it gives you an idea of the showbiz side of my life. Normally you see me trapped on the internet here talking to you about mysterious things. However, go to my website and subscribe to my newsletter, and you will see that I have a completely different life in which I actually perform for a living, sometimes to my detriment during these times, but I am super vaxxed at this point. I'm super vaxxed, super boosted. Nothing can harm me. I'm feeling good. So here's to 2022 with all of you. Enjoy your time here, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.